We're going to start with you guys telling me what's new in the world. Just because I tend to figure things out in here because I live under the rock. Um, Obviously, I'm excited for the week, and our team is excited for the week. This is an important one for us for many reasons. It's the close of the regular season, final home game for our seniors. There are a number of guys that will be honored Saturday that, have poured a lot into our program. And I think, senior days anymore can get a little crazy just with the transfer portal and all the things that have been introduced. But I think there's a real nucleus of people that we're going to celebrate on Saturday that have meant a lot to me and to this program in the time I've been here. So, and obviously when you get to play the in-state rival and a team that we haven't performed well against, that's the biggest thing to me. We can talk all we want. We need to perform better, and we need to close the gap on the field, and that's the challenge we have. And this is a really good Tennessee team that's coming to play us. So there are not a lot of flaws in their game. Obviously, they've been known for their offense. Their defense has been built into one of the best in the country, and they're really strong on special teams too. So it'll take 3 phases for us, as it always does. And I think what we've learned too, we're going to have to make some breaks in the game as well. So that means, creating turnovers and explosive play on special teams, but something to seize the momentum to give us a chance to have the result we want. But let me go back to the fact that we're excited about it, and we have to go through our process, but, we'll be ready at 11 a.m. and excited to compete. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Success against Tennessee. It's always being the last game of the year. Do you feel better positioned depth-wise? With some of those games previously, do you think a lack of depth, a long season, wear and tear contributed to lack of success, and do you feel like this is different?
I think our lack of success in the past has had to do with the level of play within our program. Honestly, I think depth obviously comes into play absolutely, and that's true of both teams. I think quality depth too is another thing, and you can look in our league, and I think that's a challenge for us. Is we have to continue to build quality depth in this program and make sure that our ones and twos there's very little margin between the performance in the depth chart, and then obviously in certain position, you need to roll 3 deep, and for example, the defensive line, to be able to compete and play in this league, you really want to have a healthy 3 deep where everyone can contribute. And I think we're better positioned now than we have been through the efforts in recruiting and retaining, and then obviously the transfer portal. But that's still an area we need to push to grow. Your question about performance in the year, I think there was a part of our lack of success in the past has been just not being a good enough team to be on the field and to create the pressure we need to create on the opponent. I think too, I would challenge the competitive spirit we've held at the end of the season, especially last season. I think there were some guys that were pouring it all out there, and I think there were others that weren't. And that's the reality of building a program and needing to shed some skin so that you can keep growing forward. We played this game 2 years ago, and we were a 5-6 team on the verge of bowl eligibility, and we feel like we didn't show up. And so those are hard things, Gentry, and I mean that's not anything that we have to be at our highest level on Saturday, or this game can go any which way. That's how good they are. But we're good and dangerous too when we played our identity and played our strategy, and like I said, create some momentum plays within a game. And that's what we're setting out to do. And I challenged the coaches on really Saturday after the game, and then again on Sunday. I challenged the team this morning. This needs to be our best week, and where it's human nature to kind of turn down the intensity and turn down the volume and cruise at the finish. We're gonna sprint to the finish, and we're gonna do everything we can to prepare for what is a challenging opponent, so that we can have fun on Saturday and have fun in the competition.
How do you get the offense functioning back how it was a few, maybe like 6 weeks ago or whatever, when Diego looks like he can't really move?
Yeah, I mean, I think Diego's limited. There's still an ability for him to keep us ahead of the chains. I thought he had an explosive run in the game on Saturday, and it was at the back end of that where we felt like we needed to infuse Nate into the offense just to get some of the option game going. But if he's out there, it's because he's going to be able to keep us ahead of the chains and keep us on the field. I think the challenge of where our offense is fallen off is that we haven't been able to establish a run game. I thought it looked better against LSU. I thought we had opportunities there where we found some space, and sometimes they were kind of gritty 5 or 6 yard runs, but we were able to do that. We have to commit to that. We have to design success. So whether it's formation, motion, or just the play to create the leverage advantage we need to win the point of attack, we got to play better in the front. That's been a push internally really since the Auburn game is, how do we strengthen our play up front? I know, I thought the O-line had a good bye week. I thought they played better against LSU, but obviously this will be a real challenge for them facing a good defensive line. So we need them to show up and play at their highest level. And then we have to capitalize on our opportunities. So, for us offensively, with where our program is right now, possession is the number one priority. That we want to maintain the possession of the ball. We want to extend drives, and that means multiple first downs and being able to flip the field and play a field position game. So what we can't have is 3 and outs. What we can't have is pre-snap penalties that set us back on third down, which happened twice against LSU. And then when we have opportunities to finish on a play, whether it's the 4th and 2 conversion, we had a couple of throws on the sideline where I felt like we had opportunities to catch it and we didn't come up with it. Like, those are plays we got to come down with. And if you look at the signature of our wins this season in conference, it's been a combination of identity, strategy, and then there have been plays made at important points in the game where we needed to make plays. And, this isn't groundbreaking, but ultimately we're no different than anyone else that way. We have to make the plays that we need to make. And, for example, on Saturday, LSU made more of those than we did, so they won the game.
Tennessee being potentially in contention for the college football playoff, along with the rivalry, does that raise the stakes of this game for you?
Maybe maybe externally for the playoff stuff. I mean, that's just not what we focus on. I mean, we're excited to compete against our in-state rival, and again, we're excited to play better. Like, we want to play a better game against them, and that's the opportunity we want to seize. We want to send our seniors out the right way. I think, as Gentry pointed out, this is always the last game on the schedule, and I've been sick to my stomach the last 3 years, whether it's leaving Knoxville or leaving our stadium here. I mean, it doesn't sit well. So that's what our focus is on, and how do we pull the best performance out of our team, and how do we represent ourselves in a way that makes us proud.
Just in terms of, what do you think is the right approach to a rivalry game and to trying to get players motivated against a rival? Do you think there's anything different that needs to happen compared to a regular game, or do you think it's better to keep it the same?
Well, the era of college football is such that again, you have so much roster transition that I think some of the rivalries can be lost. The unique thing about this game is that it's like extremely personal to me, right? Because I grew up in this city. I grew up following this program. I played in this program, as did Javon Hay, as did some of our other staff members. And so we understand, and again, the meaning of this game cuts deep to us. So my job is to communicate that and to communicate how important it is as a member of this football program that we prepare in a way and show up in a way that represents and reflects the pride of the Vanderbilt community and our university. And so maybe it's a little old school, but that stuff still matters to me. Now, when it comes to the actual game, we're not going to be given a pregame speech about it because the actual game will be about execution and focus, just like it always is. I think what you want to understand in the emotional parts of this is how you channel that into energy in your preparation. And I think the more you can do that, when the ball's put on the tee and it's kicked off, all the rest of it goes out the window. So, but they know, and we've talked a lot about it. We'll continue to talk about the importance of this game, and to be honest with you, again, performing better in it. That message was loud and clear yesterday. It was loud and clear today, and we'll continue that way through the week.
Seems like the run defense has declined some the last two games. How do you guys improve there, and what's the level of priority given Dylan Sampson is on the team?
Yeah, he's one of the best in the country, we have. Against South Carolina, I felt like we had a couple of big breakdowns in our structure with two chunk runs. One went for a touchdown. I think one was down before it got to the end zone, but set up a score. Both were split safety defenses, but they're sound structures, and we fit them fine through the season. So that's not a matter of what you're playing. Again, one thing that helps us to be successful is the more space we can eliminate pre-snap, the better we can down the ball post-snap. So rotating a safety and playing a loaded box does help. But in today's college football, you've got to be able to play quarters and quarter half and feel like you can hold up against the run. So it's not that we're making calls that compromise the integrity of a run structure. It's that we have not executed at a level against talented running backs, and it's cost us. So I can go into the details of the quarters fit where we got to leverage the ball outside in at safety. We got to stay on our feet and tackle it. We got to compress the seams inside out and outside in up front. To give ourselves a chance to down the ball, and it still may be a 4-yard gain, but we're not talking about it if it's a 4-yard gain. There was a cloud corner in the South Carolina game where, we're getting the end of our line of scrimmage reached, and he snatches in too early, which creates a short edge, which means the ball punctures before the corner can get to it. That's a fundamental technical thing. And again, when you play against good backs, they make you pay for it. In the LSU game, I believe they had 150-something yards, 40 of which came on two plays that went for touchdowns. One of them was quarters where we were just out of our structure. We just didn't execute the call, and he was able to pop through a seam and find his way to the end zone. And the other was quarter half, and our linebacker needs to spill the ball to the corner, and he ended up outside, and the ball punctured vertical. Those are just things that we can do that if we play within our structure, the ball's downed. And I felt like in the LSU game, once we got through those two bad snaps, on the whole, we settled into a run defense that resembles what we've been this year. Now, again, going to Saturday, if you don't fit in the right way against this team, so there's two things to this. There's horizontal stretch in the formation, and there's vertical puncture of the run game. And so the splits pull you apart, and the run game is meant to go downhill. And, again, if you're not really skilled at playing square up front and low and long, and they can move you, and you get turned and washed, he will score touchdowns. If you go back to 22 against this same system, different back, that's what they did. I mean, they ran the ball on us in 22. So, again, playing square, building our run wall inside out, second level players understanding how to fit in the calls we have. We in this plan have some 4 down, have some 3 down, but the message this morning to the defense was like, you cannot mess around against this team. You just can't mess around. And the minute the other part of this is the horizontal stretch of the formation plus the tempo, right? So the tempo then gets you fatigued and gets you out of position or out of your technique. And now all of a sudden you're lifted at the point of attack and they find the vertical puncture. So it's a challenge, Robbie. And again, what I can do is make sure that we're not putting a call on the sheet that doesn't have an answer. There's never a situation where we shouldn't have a tackler. To talk about the last 2 weeks, we've had tacklers, right? We either haven't sent the ball to them or we haven't leveraged the ball the right way. We can't afford to make those mistakes against this team on Saturday, and the kids know that. We'll put every ounce of our energy into the preparation of it, but it's going to be about executing it on Saturday. That may have been a little too nuanced, but that goes into our postseason clinic we're going to run. Gentry, you're invited to that too, by the way. Okay.
Does Diego need surgery after the season? Like, is he going to play the bowl game?
There's no surgery impending. I mean, he's and I want to be short of like. I think he needs to be properly evaluated, just like everybody does. But I don't. I mean, we through the season, he's gotten everything I think on his body scanned and checked, and there's just the wears and the tears and the bumps and the bruises. So I don't see that he wouldn't be available to play.
Is Eli Stowers full speed? Looked like he wasn't maybe as much a part of things last week.
No, he was intended to be. I mean, I think there's a combination of him getting open and us finding him, and there's just he's always going to be a part of our plan. But he is full speed.
Stowers only played 30 snaps in that game, I think, out of like 57 or something. So I guess why he's coming off the field on 3rd down sometimes. Is that anything with the knee in terms of snap count or
no? Play design at times. I mean, I think there was some frustration with a lack of execution. Obviously, we had a false start penalty too. I mean, there's just some things where it wasn't. I don't think it was the best performance, but the decision that our offensive staff makes on who's in the game. I mean, it's for him. This is not about somehow protecting an injury or anything like that. It's it's either design relative or performance relative. But he was out there today making all kinds of plays. So I'm expecting them to have a great game on Saturday.
You talked about Sampson being one of the best backs in the country. What does he do so well?
Well, he's really fast, which is always a good starting point for a running back. And then he's got an ability to kind of play small through tight windows and find like those vertical seams where he just is able to like stay clean and then accelerate big once he finds the daylight. I mean, and it seems like once he pushes the pedal down, I mean, it's hard to catch him. So he's got strong lowers. He's contact tough. He seems to run through arm tackles. But his acceleration's elite. I think his ability to find the vertical cut and the tight cut also make him elite.
All set. Thank you.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.